Unicorns Talk is a weekly podcast where we discuss the ups and downs of the human experience, from personal growth to romantic relationships and everything in between. This show is for life livers, life lovers, and life enhancers. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, your life enhancement coach, and together we're going to laugh, love, and learn to maneuver all of life's little messes. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Latrice Sampson Richards here, your life enhancement coach, and you are tuned in to episode 13 of the Unicorns Talk podcast. As usual, I am super duper excited to be here. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in today. I know that you didn't have to do that, and so I appreciate you for taking your time to listen to what I have to say. I appreciate that. So this week's episode, actually I have a really good episode for you this week. Our topic for this week is shoot your shot, and I kind of came upon this because I had a really eventful week this week in terms of taking chances on myself and growing my business, and it has been very successful so far. And I was just kind of thinking about it, and I just felt like this is something that I wanted to talk about today. Shooting your shot, taking a chance on yourself, like putting the ball in your own court. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about today. Our feature for the day is our very first Ask Treese segment, and so I'm really looking forward to doing that, and then just some updates about some of the things that I have going on as well, some of the things that we talked about before. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said before, I have had a really good week this week, y'all. My business, my business is kind of two things, right? So I am a certified life purpose and relationship coach, and I'm also a licensed professional counselor. And so I've really been working really hard to kind of put my personal brand out there and get people to know who I am, and I just want to try to help as many people as I can for as long as I can, because I really believe that this is my life purpose. And then the other side of that, which is also a part of it but just in a different way, is my blog that I do. It's called the Black Unicorn Project, and I'm really kind of starting to get the Black Unicorn Project rolling again. I was going really good with it about a year ago, and then I just kind of life took over, and so I'm really figuring out what that looks like now in comparison to my personal brand, and kind of pulling it together a little bit at a time. So in the blog, in the Black Unicorn Project, I really need to try to figure out how to make some income. This week, I have been preparing for my upcoming free program. I guess I don't know, I don't want to just call it a webinar, but it's going to be a whole program called Vision 2018 to kind of help us to start preparing our vision for next year, getting on track in terms of accomplishing our goals, and things like that. And so when I was working on the curriculum or putting that program together last week and this week also, I was like, you know what, I went back and looked at my own vision board. And when I took a look at my own vision board, I realized that there were a lot of things on my vision board that I just have not gotten around to yet. And this hasn't been intentionally or anything like that. I mean, I moved twice in the last 6 months, and so it's just been, I just kind of been all over the place. And so I haven't really been looking at my vision board the way that I normally would in terms of staying on track with my goals. And so there were two goals in particular that I have not really made any progress on at all on my vision board. And so one of those was to start branching out into merchandise. Well, they actually connected to each other, right? So one is to create multiple streams of income, which is something that I really need to be able to do in order to quit my full-time job and really build my business and do my coaching practice full time and kind of grow my brand and things like that as well. But until that income can replace my 9 to 5 job, I can't really do that. So one of the things I need to do is to create multiple streams of income. One of the ways that I wanted to do that is to start producing merchandise. So all different kinds of merchandise, but things that are all in line with what my overall goal is, which is to help people, specifically African Americans, but all people, to really be able to see their own worth, see our own value, and to be able to put forth the best version of ourselves and heal ourselves, build our so that we can build our futures for ourselves. Okay. And so I had not made any progress on either one of those. And so I'm really big on authenticity and being as genuine as possible. And I also believe that I cannot ask you or tell you that you need to be doing something if I'm not willing and capable of doing it myself. And so before I could really talk about, how to put your vision together and things like that, I felt like I owed myself, I owed it to myself, but I also owed it to you. I owe it to you to practice what I preach. And so I took steps to start checking off those two things on my vision board. And so I launched my first pieces of merchandise this weekend. Yay, cue the spirit fingers. I'm doing spirit fingers. Y'all can't see it, but I am doing spirit fingers right now. And so I actually, I was nervous about doing it. But I followed the steps that I'm going to give you today in terms of shooting your shot. And, I've experienced some success. I launched on Saturday and I actually saw my first sale in less than 24 hours, all by taking a chance on myself and shooting my shot. And so I want to give you all some tips and some steps that you can take today on taking a calculated risk and shooting your shot and taking a chance on yourself. Before I really get into those steps, I want to first just kind of talk about what it means to shoot your shot. I think more often than not, when we talk about shooting your shot, people always go straight to romantic relationships. I think I've seen like 50 million memes out there talking about shoot your shot, girl. You got to shoot your shot. And a lot of times we use that, in talking about trying to get with somebody like on a romantic level. And it does include that, but it's not just about the romantic life. I'm talking about shooting your shot in every aspect of your life. We're talking about taking a chance on yourself, whether that's in your career, in your business, whether that's weight loss, financial freedom and financial fitness, parenting, like whatever it is, shoot your shot. Take a chance on yourself and see what happens. I think that a lot of times, myself included, we allow fear to stop us from taking risk and from taking chances. But growth doesn't come from safety. You know what I'm saying? Like growth, we don't grow from playing it safe all the time. We don't grow from never failing, from never putting ourselves in situations to learn. We have to be able and be willing to take chances sometimes. All right. And I think that this is an important lesson to learn. I think that it's something that is necessary throughout our entire lives. And I'm going to do my best to help you figure out how to make that happen in the least scary way possible. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step in shooting your shot is to identify. Okay. So we got 4 steps. First step is to identify. You need to identify what exactly is it that you want to do. Okay. Like what exactly is it? It's not enough to just say, I want to lose weight. I mean, yeah, it is good to identify that you want to lose weight and that that's an area of your life that you want to improve. But what does that mean? What goes into making that happen? All right. You want to make sure that as you're setting these goals and that these things that you want to shoot your shot on, that you set those goals in a smart way. All right. And so SMART here is definitely an acronym. If you follow me on social media, then you know that SMART is an acronym, and it stands for specific. You want to make sure that your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time stamped. Okay. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time stamped. All right. And so I'm going to go into this a lot deeper in the Vision 2018 workshop that I'm planning for you all. But it's important for you to make sure that as you're setting these goals, that you're following this guideline in terms of developing your goals, because you want to give yourself every opportunity possible to be successful at manifesting your dreams. All right. And setting SMART goals allows that to happen. The second part of identifying, the shot that you want to shoot is really understanding why you want to do it. Why is this a shot that I want to take? Is this shot worth it? Is it worth the possibility of failure that comes along with taking this risk, right? Is it important enough to me that this is a risk I'm willing to take? All right. So you want to not just identify what it is you want to do and set SMART goals, but you also want to identify why you want to do it. What makes it so important that you're willing to risk all of the, backlash and the hardship and, the frustration and the fear that comes along with it? What is the payout that you're trying to achieve, and what makes that payout so important? Okay. The second step in shooting your shot is to then create a plan. So once you identify the what and the why, now you need to create a plan. Okay. So what is it going to take for me to make this happen? That includes the steps, like the actual steps. First, I need to do this, then I need to do this, then I need to do this. Again, this is something that we're going to talk about in the vision workshop in terms of helping you to establish your vision and helping you to set yourself up for success. We're going to talk about identifying the steps, and I actually have a worksheet that you're going to be receiving that goes along with the workshop that is going to take you step by step into identifying the step by step of manifesting your goals. Okay. You need to know what needs to happen, but it also means creating a plan for your strengths so that they can work to your advantage, and then also creating a plan for your deficits, or more, specifically, how do I fill my deficits, right? So how do I not allow my deficits to be a barrier for me and overcome those barriers, or overcome those deficits? And then two, how do I put things in place to remove the barriers or the deficits altogether whenever possible? All right. And then you also want to create a plan utilizing your resources. What resources do I have available to me, whether that's community resources, financial resources, familial support and resources in that type of area, friends and family, that type of support network resources. And then what resources am I lacking? And what areas do I need to build my resources up? And then create a plan on how to get those things as well. Again, this is something that we're going to talk about in the Vision Workshop. It is going to be a completely free workshop for those of you who are wondering. I know I didn't say that, but it is going to be completely free because I just want to see you be successful, and I want to be able to participate in making that happen. I don't want cost to be a reason that you don't get your shit get together in 2018. Okay, so it is going to be a completely free workshop. You will have to register, but everything else is going to be free. Okay, and I'm going to help you establish and create a plan so that you can shoot your shot. All right, the second thing that you want to consider in creating your plan is you have to consider all possible outcomes, and you need to plan for all possible outcomes. Now, I know that that sounds very overwhelming. Like, oh my God, she wants me to consider all possible outcomes. There's so much shit that could go wrong. Okay. Like, I get it. I understand. But when I say, consider all possible outcomes or plan and prepare for all possible outcomes, I understand that it's a little bit of an oxymoron, right? Because there is absolutely no way that you could literally prepare for all possible outcomes. All right. The outcomes are, the possibility of the outcomes are infinite. I mean, just in reality. And because we cannot see the future, there's no way for us to know how something is going to turn out. I get that. I understand that. But damned if you can't try. Okay? Damned if you can't try. When I say consider all possible outcomes, I'm talking about preparing yourself both mentally and emotionally, but then also tangibly preparing yourself as much as humanly possible for the most likely outcomes in each direction. Okay. So obviously you want to plan for success. What happens if I'm successful in achieving my goal, right? What's next? What comes next? What's the next step? Okay. Plan for partial success. Maybe this part worked and this part did well, but this part did not do so well. Or maybe I'm closer to where I want to be, but not exactly where I want to be. So maybe my plan needs some adjustment. Okay. And also plan for failure. That shit didn't work at all. What happened? What happened? What's next? What can I learn from that experience? Right? If you're anything like me, you're going to have not just a plan A, but a plan B, C, D, E, so forth and so on. All right. Because you never know how things are going to happen. I always operate within like this world of if then type of situations. And I don't know, maybe it's just my crazy, that peeks out from time to time. But this is how my brain operates. I always have these if then kind of situations going on in my head, especially for situations that have multiple likely outcomes, or really, you know what it's really for? Now that I'm really thinking about it, y'all got me thinking now. But now that I'm really thinking about it, I have more if then situations established for, when I find myself experiencing, or where my goals or my success or failure is in the hands of somebody else, or it depends on somebody else doing something, right? And so then I have these if then kind of situations so that I can kind of prepare for what if they do what I need them to do and it goes well? What if they do what I need them to do and it doesn't go well? What if they don't do what I need them to do and I need to pick up the slack? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I always have these if then situations. But all of that to say, when you're creating your plan, you have to consider all possible outcomes, and you have to try to prepare for those things as much as possible. And it can feel overwhelming, but I'm going to show you in the workshop, in the Vision 2018 workshop, I'm going to show you how to be able to prepare for those outcomes without feeling completely bogged down by the reality or the depth of all of those outcomes. Okay? All right. So that's creating a plan. What is it going to take to make this happen? And then what are all of the possible outcomes, and creating a plan for those things as well. All right. Step 3 is to implement. Okay. And this is the bread and butter here. Okay. Implement. My mother always said, nothing beats a fail but a try. And that's something that I really do believe in. You cannot win if you're not willing to put yourself in the game. Okay? And you have to be able to move forward with confidence. We talked about, I think it was 2 episodes ago, maybe episode 11 or 10 or 11. No, 9, I think, 9 or 10. We talked about engaging the world with confidence. I think that kind of applies here as well. Once you identify your goals and you create SMART goals, you identify what it is you want to do, why you want to do it, you create a plan, the steps, the strengths, the deficits, the resources, you consider all of the possible outcomes, you are prepared. You have provided yourself with the information that you need to be able to move forward and implement this plan with confidence. Okay? And confidence is key. Confidence is so very, very, very important in your implementation, because if you do not confidently believe that you can manifest these goals and that you have prepared yourself to do these things, then you're going to really struggle. I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to manifest, but what I am saying is that it's going to be very, very hard. And this I speak from personal experience, but then also from working with clients and watching clients try to get it together, but wanting to skip over the preparation and the planning phase of this. Okay. And so when they get to implementation, they can't do so with confidence because they don't know what their next step is. They don't know what the possible outcome of their actions is going to be. And so, it makes it extremely difficult to be able to maneuver and power forward. It's important to be able to do that with confidence because shooting the shot ain't easy. Okay? I never said it was going to be easy, the implementation of it. All right? It's work. You have to work. You have to create things. You have to research things. You have to, feet to the ground, feet to pavement, or however that, I don't know how they say that. What is that? How do they say that? Where the pavement hits the road or something like that. Okay? It's work. It is work, and it is tiresome, and it is stressful at times, and it can make you doubt yourself. And so if you don't have a plan, if you have not put in the work in the beginning, then you won't have the confidence built up in your ability, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult for you to withstand those difficult times. Okay? So in your implementation, you can move forward with confidence because you've already done the groundwork, and you know that you are giving yourself every opportunity to be successful, but you also know that in the event that you're unsuccessful, you have a plan for that too. All right? And then the fourth and final step in shooting your shot is to evaluate. What was the actual outcome? We have to be willing to evaluate. I think a lot of us stop at this phase. We don't come back to the evaluation, whether it was successful or unsuccessful. We have to evaluate what happened, right? If it was successful, what specifically made it successful? What about my approach was successful, and how can I replicate that again moving forward? If it was unsuccessful, specifically what was unsuccessful about it? Was it my marketing? Was it my approach? Was it my thought process? Was my goal not appropriate? Was my goal not smart? Okay. Was it unrealistic? Was it not relevant? Maybe I was successful, but it didn't get me any closer to where I'm trying to go, right? It wasn't relevant, okay? Evaluate the outcomes, evaluate the process, and then make the adjustments and the tweaks as necessary and repeat, okay? Repeat, 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 all right? Because there needs to always be a goal to which we hope to attain. Life is about growth. Life is about movement. All right. And even when we get to a place where we feel confident in where we are, we feel comfortable, or we have achieved a lifelong goal, we have to continue to create new goals. Because when we stop moving, when we stop, when we stop approaching, or what is the word I'm looking for? When we stop hoping for more, or trying to achieve pursuing more, when we stop pursuing more is when we grow stale and stagnant. And when we grow stale and stagnant and we stop moving, that's when we die, physically and or emotionally. All right. So those are your 4 steps in shooting your shot, taking a calculated risk. You want to identify, create a plan, implement, and evaluate. All right. I know it sounds really simple because I just do a really good job of explaining it. Okay. But the reality is that it's not hard. It's not, overbearingly hard, rather, right? But it is going to take some work. All right. And I am here to help you to be able to do that. And I'm going to give y'all more information on the Vision 2018 workshop, because that's exactly what that's here for. That's why I am creating this workshop. And it is why I'm offering it for free, because I want to help us. We need to start jumpstarting our movement toward manifestation of our goals. Okay. And I just want to be a part of making that happen. All right. So once I get that situated, then I'll definitely, be giving y'all information on that. And, I cannot wait to see y'all be successful. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing all of the success stories as a result of that, and sharing those stories with y'all. All right. So if you want more information on that, just shoot me an email or something like that, or you can go to my website, LatriceSampsonRichards.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter. And people, those who are registered on the newsletter, will get advance notification. And so you'll have a full 24 hours in advance to register for the Vision 2018 event that is coming up. And so it's going to be a limited number of slots. So that's a really, really big deal. Okay. All right. Coming up next is Ask Treese. Okay, welcome back to Unicorns Talk Podcast, and it's time for Ask Treese. So Ask Treese is a segment that I do where people send in their questions, or I come across questions that people have asked me and things like that, and I answer them. I give you some feedback on those questions. All right. Today's question comes from a wife group that I am a part of, and it's a relatively simple question, but it's very, very loaded. The question says, what are you supposed to do when your husband tells you he's not happy? And so this is a question that comes up often when I'm working with individuals who are having relationship issues. And it has come up in relationship counseling as well, and coaching as well, when I'm working with couples. And the answer is, find out why he's not happy. Okay, that is the very first question that you need to ask. I think your instinct might be to get defensive or to take that personally. And as a wife myself, I could not imagine what that would feel like to hear your husband say. I could imagine, I've never experienced it, but I couldn't imagine what that feels like to hear your husband say that he's not happy. Okay, but you have to resist the urge or the instinct to take it personally and go on a defensive, because the reality is that it's a great thing that he's even communicating this with you. He could just walk away from the situation and leave you with no understanding of what's going on. Okay, but the fact that he is verbalizing that he is not happy means that the lines of communication, even if it's just a teeny tiny little bit, are open to some extent. All right. So the first step is to find out why he's not happy. It may be something that's actually fixable, like, poor communication. We can learn communication skills. It could be, the affection is not there, or maybe you don't even realize that you've been distant lately. Maybe you've been stressed out and you just kind of been neglecting your relationship a little bit, or, you're feeling like y'all are losing contact or connection with each other. These things are all fixable things if both parties are willing to work on them and to fix them. Okay. But it starts with a dialogue. It starts with communicating and not taking it personally and finding out what is the real issue, what is actually going on. Then there may also be a bigger issue at hand. Okay. Things like sexual incompatibility, things like growing apart or differences in your value systems. Okay. Things like that are a little bit bigger. It doesn't mean that they cannot be fixed. It just means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult. They're not quick or easy fixes. Okay. It's not like you can just learn a skill and make it happen. These are things that are going to have to take some time. Trust issues is another big one. Okay. These are things that require healing. Okay. And so I think that it's important for you to be open and honest about, be open to hearing what he has to say, but then also be honest about your own wants and needs as well, because your wants and needs matter just as much as his do. Okay. And then at the end of the day, you want to work together and find a fix, whether that is mutually agreeing that we are going to work on it, we're committed to this relationship, we're going to make this happen, or mutually agreeing that, we've done all we can and this is not going to work, which happens sometimes in relationships and marriages. Okay. So, yeah, find out why he's not happy. What's going on? Is it fixable? Is it a bigger issue? Seek help. Seek the help that you need. If you feel like, y'all are lacking in skills, work with a coach or work with a counselor, a relationship coach or a relationship counselor to help teach you all the skills that you need. Sometimes, we just don't know how to communicate with each other in relationships, and those things just kind of snowball over time, and we need to relearn how to talk to each other. All right. It doesn't mean that we can never find common ground. It just means that we have to relearn how to communicate and what that communication needs to look like. All right. So good luck to you. I hope she's listening, the young lady that sent in this message, this question, today, but I hope she's listening. But good luck to you if you're having issues in your relationship, and you're looking to seek some outside help to try to figure out what's going on. Give me a holler. Let me know how I can help you. I'm going to try to do some more things around communication and marriage and couple stuff here on the podcast. And then also I have a lot of things lined up for next year in terms of more freebies for y'all, workshops and programs and things like that to help y'all get on track. Okay. So that's Ask Treese. All right. And that is today's episode, you guys. I really appreciate y'all for sticking with me. You can submit your Ask Treese questions or show topics via email at unicornstalkpodcast@LatriceSampsonRichards.com. You can also hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Latrice Sampson Richards. Well, on Twitter is L Sam Richards. And let me know what you got going on. I just wanted to remind you all that on October 31st, which is a Tuesday, that's Halloween, but it's the last Tuesday of this month, we are going to be dedicating our show. I'm going to be dedicating the show to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Last week I announced to you all that I would be participating, or that the show is going to be participating in the hashtag Remember My Name campaign. And like I told y'all at the beginning of the show, today I'm actually kind of taking that a step further in creating merchandise to support the cause. Okay. So the topic for that episode, which is going to be October 31st, the Domestic Violence Awareness Month episode, is going to be identifying unhealthy relationships and how to fight your way out of an abusive relationship, okay? Whether that is figuratively or literally, all right? Definitely use the hashtag Remember My Name to send me the names of your loved ones who are survivors of domestic violence, or those whom we have lost to domestic violence. Like I told y'all before, my family has been shaken with domestic violence losses twice. Most recently, last year, I had a cousin that was killed by her significant other, and it was a very traumatic experience. So this is a cause that is very, very near and dear to my heart. I have launched my first set of apparel, or items, pieces that are available, and they are domestic violence awareness shirts. Okay, it's a hoodie, a shirt, and I want to say a mug. Okay, and it's Unicorns Fight Back, because we are learning how to fight back. The shirts and the apparel is going to be available from now through October 31st, and 10% of all proceeds will be donated to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Okay, and there will be a link in the description box, so make sure you click on that link if you would like to purchase and support the cause, support my business, and help me to be able to continue to do the work that I'm doing. All right. I also have designed two shirt options, or two apparel options, for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As you know, October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and 10% of those proceeds will be donated to the National Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. And so I'm really excited about that as well. Here on the show, we are focusing more on the domestic violence, but I also don't want to neglect those who are survivors of, or who are fighting to be survivors of, the breast cancer. Okay. And my family has also been touched by breast cancer, and I have friends who've been touched by breast cancer in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so definitely it's important to raise awareness about that as well. That link will be in the bio or in the description as well. And then finally, I just wanted to give y'all a quick update that iTunes is back up and running. I don't know, for those of you who are my iTunes listeners, when I made the transition over to my new platform, my hosting platform that I'm using now is called Libsyn. And when I made the transition over to Libsyn, there was an error. It was a human error, but not this human. I didn't make the error. The company did make the error. But they did fix it. The customer service was really good, and they got me back up and running within about 24 hours. Okay. So, but one of the negative side effects of that is that I lost all of my subscribers. So if you are listening on iTunes, you have to go back in and resubscribe. Okay. Make sure you resubscribe. If you like the content, please download, share, like, comment, and rate. And you can also listen to Unicorns Talk Podcast on Stitcher, TuneIn, and SoundCloud. Okay. All right. So I have a lot more things coming up for y'all. And I'll kind of be trickling that out to y'all a little bit at a time. But, I tell y'all every week, and I mean it. I feel like I mean it more and more every single week. Okay. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well.